What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
You don't know what that order is, Mr. Trash. I'd show you, but I'm too old. I'm too tired. I'm too fucking blind. If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
We've said it once, we've said it before, we've said it a million times. The truth shall always set you free. This is Tim, get off my lawn, the mad ramblings of a Gen Xer. Oh, I want to talk about the Democratic National Convention. You need an ID. You need to go through the gate, the checkpoint, before you can even get into the DNC. But of course, we also have all the security and all this police. But of course, we do not need that at the southern border or any of our borders. Because everyone's allowed in. Everything's free. It's so freaking awesome. I want to talk about how awesome something is about all these people coming in with all the free stuff. Before we get into the lunacy of the DNC, the issue of the fact that they have to have border security and we don't, I want to get into this some of the craziness that is Kamala Harris. Here she is in her 2020 campaign telling people how she's going to snatch the patents from companies and the government will make the products themselves.
Snatch their patent so that we will take over. And yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. It's the question is, do you have the will to do it? I have the will to do it.
That should scare the bejesus out of anyone. Anyone that thinks about saving democracy, everyone thinks about all the wonderfulness that Kamala Harris is going to do. She is talking about snatching patents out of the patent office from corporations who do not want to cooperate with the U.S. You will cooperate with us? Who does not want to cooperate with the U.S. government? So the government can make the products and services on their own, cutting out whomever actually lawfully owns the patent. When I saw that clip, that just shocked the hell out of me. We talk about communism all the time. You will do what we say and like it. It's scary. It's scary that she would even put that out in the ether because of the fact that you are going against everything we talk about in reference to free commerce. You will stifle innovation because companies will be like, "What? This is what stuff that China does. This is shit that China does to us." This is why Trump put the tariffs on China, which I find interesting. Biden bitches about, but never removed because it helps create fair trade. And China likes to steal our intellectual property under the guidelines of fair trade. But now Kamala Harris is saying that we as a government, we can do this. We could just go to the patent office, take your patent, fuck you. What do you need money for? What you just employ people? You just keep the economy going? You stupid corporations. It's all about the people. It's a fiscally responsible way to put money back in the pockets of working people. Oh, that's, of course, is Kamala Harris's new wonderful idea, saying raising corporate tax rate. And raising the corporate tax rate is a financial way to put the money back in the pockets of the working people. How? So you are going to increase the tax rate right now, and you're going to pay 20. They're going to go from paying 21% when they went from a high of paying 35%, paying back at 28%. And this is always the way for those billionaires, those fucking fat cats to pay their fair share. It's amazing in a country that more than half the country who doesn't pay income tax. For some reason, the other 48%, we all have to pay more because we need to pay our fair share. But those people don't. We don't just have a flat tax rate where everyone just pays a certain percentage because that would be paying your fair share. Oh, no. It's the big fat cats and those billionaires. As president, Kamala Harris will focus on creating opportunity economy for the middle class, advance their economy, security, stability, and dignity. It's all about dignity. Here's the problem. You raise the corporate tax rate. Corporations are going to have to find a way to cut costs. They're going to have to find a way to save money. They're going to have to find a way to bring that additional revenue in to create this innovation that is needed to drive the country. What is the best way to do that? Well, the best way is to outsource a lot of your work to India. We saw that under the Obama administration. IT and all these other services for many large corporations all went and were outsourced to India and other countries. So then once you start outsourcing these things, you start outsourcing manufacturing because it is now cheaper to manufacture something in another company with a lower tax rate and ship it back here to the United States. What Trump did at one point in time with tariffs is it said if an American company wants to go overseas and basically do that, we're gonna put a tariff on your goods and services because they should be made here. So once the corporations figure out, hell, you know what? It's probably cheaper to make this shit overseas. We need less people. And like those wonderful Obama years, we are just going to basically start laying people off. GM, General Motors, has just come out and shockingly, they're laying off a large portion of their IT staff. And when you do that, it's not that all of a sudden you don't need IT. It's because of the fact that you're going to outsource your IT to another country. So once again, like under the Obama years, we are sending jobs out. It's fucking lunacy and craziness. You want to talk about a job killer. You want to talk about an economy killer. You raise corporate taxes, and we are going to go back to where we were when the market crashed, when the real estate market blew up because of the subprime mortgage rates. When that blew up because people who couldn't afford houses were buying these homes, then in 3-4 years after they purchased them, they were going to be so underwater and not have the ability to pay back their debt, which caused the bubble to burst. We're heading down that same path. They always say you need to learn your history. You need to learn from your history. But we don't. We're going into Kamalism, which is also referred to as communism. You have to think about this for a minute. And some of these ideas, we talked about it briefly, the $25,000, we're going to give $25,000 to new homeowners for starter homes. Really? So you just literally added $25,000 onto the price of every new house. Same thing happened when we gave the $8,000 away for the cars. Because we all had to get new cars because, we had too many old cars on the road. You know what's hilarious? There was a sign. There's a bunch of signs. It's not just one. You can go look this up. Electric cars actually put off more toxic emissions than a gas-powered vehicle because of the tires. Evidently, the weight of the vehicles and the batteries puts so much pressures on the tires. They emit this noxious gas, which goes into the air, which actually puts off more emissions than a regular vehicle. So not only are you actually putting out more emissions than a gas-powered vehicle, but now you are using more power off the energy grid to power a vehicle that is heavier and is going to put off more emissions. I thought that was interesting. I just want to bring it up. You have so many economists that are saying that these plans, these ideas, this strategy now about how we're going to go after those greedy corporations by what we're going to do is price gouging. That's what we're going to do. You have so many economists that saying that would be a death nail for the economy. That how are you going? And these are people that are on CNN and other places saying, how are you going to do this? It's a really bad fucking idea that these people are saying because of the fact that if you do these certain things that you want to do, you again are going to stifle growth. You are going to end price gouging. How are you going to define price gouging? Are you going to start going to every single corporation, seeing what their bottom line is to make a product? And I love it. They're going to go after grocery stores. Grocery stores have about a 2 to 3% markup on their food and services. There's no huge markup. Same was Biden when I go up to those greedy gas station owners. No, they pay the price of you pay the price of what it costs them to put the gas in the ground. We talked about it before. They make their money off the convenience stores. So what we're going to do is we are going to create basically another section of the government which is going to go after anti-corporate abuse. Because they're all fucking greedy. All they do is give us jobs, power the economy, blah, 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 blah. Have the ability to buy homes, set the market in reference to the value that people get, blah, 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 blah. And Kamala Harris's big thing is everyone doesn't start at the same. So we have to have equality by having everyone be the same. No, that's not life. Life isn't fucking fair. Is it fair that my wife and I had to work basically save for 8-9 years to get a down payment for a house, and you're going to give someone $25,000 to buy their first home? Is it fair that I worked 3 jobs in college and also had 2 full-time jobs and paid back my own student loans, and all you do now is just have loan forgiveness? Is that fair? Because it's never about paying off someone's debt. It's about debt transference. All you're doing is transferring that debt to somebody else, and that someone else is always the taxpayer. Wake up, people. You are going to impose controls on competitive markets, which are going to lead to shortages. We've seen it in Venezuela. We've seen it in all these other socialist countries. We've seen it in the former Soviet Union. You are literally rocketing yourselves into communism and socialism. That's just it. The ban on price gouging and everything such as that didn't even work in the 70s, which is where we had some of the worst inflation ever, and we want to go back to that. We want to move back into that direction. And I love it because people call it's your good vibes economy policy. Yeah, everyone's saying it's probably going to be the death nail for our economy. A lot of people are just hoping that this is just one of those things that it's just, oh, you know what it is? It's just rhetoric to try to get her elected because he's trying to buy votes. You want to do the same, you want to do the $3,600 for qualifying children under the age of 6 and qualifying children of $3,000 under 18, which is the child tax credit, which we had over COVID. We're going to do that, but who's going to pay for that? No, we don't care. We don't care who pays for that. We don't care who pays for the fact that the last time they gave out this big spending bill, which she was the deciding vote on, it overheated the economy because you had too much money chasing too small amount of goods, which caused massive inflation. Now imagine if you go after these corporations for price gouging, you steal and take their patents, and you then turn around and say, oh, why am I in the store with less choices and more expensive goods? Oh, because the federal government, who ran the post office, who's run Medicare and Medicaid, who runs the public libraries, who runs every Social Security, has run all those departments into the ground. They are now going to be charged for making sure that those evil corporations don't price gouge. And then I love it because here's my other thing I just love. This just kills me. So all these, we're going to flood the home market right now with $25,000 for first-time buyers to buy starter homes. But here's the problem. There's no inventory. You are going to create an artificial demand again against a market where there's not enough inventory, which is only going to drive up prices, which is only going to continue to drive up the interest rates. And like I said, this isn't me. These are people a lot smarter. These are economists saying this is not going to help the middle class. This is going to destroy the middle class. But you have so many people like, oh, this is a great idea. Let's rocket it. Let's rock it into hell. I loved it when I saw one article that it says Harris's plan is economically dumb, but politically smart. So the good news is we should destroy our own country. We should become a socialist company. We should create shortages of goods and services. We should increase prices. People need to remember history. Look it up. Richard Nixon, price, wages, and controls in the 70s. Look it up. It's going to cause shortages because the prices are going to go up and bring quantity down, and the demand is going to be high for, again, smaller amounts of goods and services. And now you're taxing corporations on top of that. So more than likely, there's going to be more mass layoffs and lower salaries. I mean, can we just think about this for a minute? I love the other headline I saw. Kamala Harris is dishonest and stupid price control proposal. And she thinks it's something to be proud of. You are not going to stimulate the economy. You're going to stifle growth. There is almost, like I said, Kroger's. I got a friend that works at Kroger's. It's a supermarket, for those that don't know. And they had a higher profit margin. I think last year it was by 1.4. I think it was 1.2% or something like that. And they've had a total net profit margin of like 1.43% over the last 15 years. Okay, that is a huge profit margin for the evil supermarket boogeyman who's causing all these inflations and all these price gouging. You know what's funny? Their highest profit margin was 3.02% in 2018. You still don't have inflation under control. You still have all these problems, but you want to compound the problems by spending more money, more government giveaways, and then you're going to just continuously increase the debt. Can we just fucking get away from that for a minute, please? You want to move into communism? Fine. Go to Russia. Go to North Korea. Go to all these other places. I got to chuckle a little bit because the Kamala Harris campaign is just kind of stupid as stupid can be. They evidently staged a campaign stop at a popular restaurant. I think it was a place called Sheetz. It's a convenience store, I believe, and restaurant. So what they did is, and this comes from let's play the clip.
You are terrible people.
Tell us again, what happened at Permane Brothers?
They kicked us out of Permane Brothers so that they could get the paid actors inside.
Ridiculous.
Where's all the great actors?
Look at all these people.
So there's buses coming in to go to this, I forget the name of the restaurant, I'm sorry. There's buses going in. All these people got kicked out at 3:30 p.m. because the bartender called last call. People are like, what the fuck do you mean last call? It's 3:30 p.m. And they told them they're being shut down, and they're shutting down the TVs. They couldn't watch the game. Why? Because they were going to stage a Harris visit at this restaurant by bringing in her own paid actors. How fucking crazy is that? And I loved when she went into Sheetz. There was Sheetz before where she was visiting to get some snacks, and they basically had to recut it twice. She had to do it twice because we all know she's stupid. But this is the dishonor. It's been 28 days since she said anything. The person that kicks off the DNC is the activist who basically said, fuck the white woman. So, because it's all about bringing the country together. You got Antifa and everything outside. And then at the end of the day, you have millions of people crossing the border. But to get into Chicago, to get into the DNC, the first thing you need to do is have your ID checked and go through the security point as they set up a wall to protect the convention. But walls don't work whatsoever. Walls don't work. Fucking walls don't work. Why would you get a wall? They don't fucking work. They set up a wall, but you also have to have an ID to get in. But we don't need that at the border. I've said it before. I live in a very rural area. I live in the middle of fucking nowhere. And you would think that we wouldn't be subjected to the illegal immigration issue as much, but we are. We have a lot of panhandlers. They're outside there with signs that says, God says we need money. Well, get a fucking job because you weren't invited here anyways. And they sell things they try to sell objects and things to other people. And it's annoying because you got to explain to your kids, they're begging out here for food and money because of the fact they weren't invited here and they're already getting food and money from the government, but it's the only way they can do anything because they can't work because they're not here legally. So we have a dairy farm right next to us, and we like to eat a lot of non-processed food. So we get the milk and stuff and the cheese and everything from the dairy farm. So I rolled up into the dairy farm today, and there was this very large pickup truck, and I swear to God, it's like a clown car. I would say at least 11 people, which probably came from Mexico or El Salvador, got out of the vehicle, went into the store, and literally purchased 24 half gallons of milk. Now, this is a dairy farm, so everything that you do is in glass bottles. And they charge you a $3 deposit on each bottle because of the fact that people sometimes don't return them. So I watched them pay it with WIC. So they wheel out their bottles. They're in their truck putting all these milk bottles into coolers. And I'm looking at this going, they are going to go off and try to sell this. So now we are creating more scarcity for the people who live here, who have jobs, because now some of these people potentially have to buy milk from these people because of the fact that they are taking the milk from the dairy farm. And the look of disgust on the people that worked at the farm was incredible. I felt so bad for them. But this is what we have to deal with. You come in here for free, that's great. But you can't go to the fucking DNC. You can't go anywhere near it unless you have an ID and you get through the wall. Oh, we're going to have a lot of fun pods coming up the next couple weeks, so make sure you stay tuned. And as always, the truth shall set you free. This is Tim is going to play my lawn, the Mad Realmies of Gen Xer, and I'm out.